Hey everyone, it's Michael Groff here to talk to you about your roof. With an active monsoon season expected this year, you need a name you can trust, and that's why you should call Blackstone Roofing Group for all of your roofing needs. Call for your free inspection today. Big or small, they do it all. Tile, shingle, or flat roofing, they can help, offering free inspections and more. Roofing made easy. Call 602-536-9363 or visit blackstoneroofinggroup.com to schedule your free inspection today. And if you tell them Michael Groff sent you, they'll take $500 off the price of your roof replacement. Again, that's 602-536-9363 or blackstoneroofinggroup.com. This is the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for Wednesday, the 9th of July. I'm Michael Groff. All right, here we go. The hottest day of the year so far, potentially here in Phoenix this afternoon, with temperatures maybe as high as 118 degrees. But the minor bit of good news is that temperatures do begin to trend down as we go through the rest of the week and this weekend, and maybe getting closer to seasonal averages as we go into next week. Now, as for the monsoon, basically on hiatus. We might see a few showers and thunderstorms over the higher terrain of eastern Arizona this afternoon and each afternoon, perhaps through the weekend. But for the most part, dry conditions will continue. However, as we go into next week, moisture begins to come back into the region and maybe a more dramatic uptick in the number of showers and storms for the latter half of next week. There's a lot of maybes and question marks and speculation, but we'll try to figure it all out as we dive on in and discuss. First, the almanac from yesterday, 112 degrees the afternoon high, 92 was the morning low, 107 and 84 the averages for this time of year. We're way behind on rainfall, almost an inch and a half now. Not going to catch up anytime soon. Outside right now, here at 10:50 a.m., we've got sunny sky out there, and it's 104 degrees at Sky Harbor, dew points at 52, humidity 18%, wind from the north at 3, and the barometer is steady. Temperatures out there right now, it's pretty hot here, and we're not even at 11 o'clock yet. We've already got 108 degrees at places like Verrado and Buckeye and Queen Creek and Surprise. It is 104 degrees in Scottsdale, 103 in Arcadia, and basically everybody's over 100 degrees and approaching 110 in some spots. And again, we're not even at 11 a.m. yet. Goodness. Satellite picture out here across the southwest. We had an area of showers and thunderstorms, a nice little MCS again last night across northern Mexico, drifting out toward the Gulf of California, fizzling out there. But all the thunderstorm activity has basically stayed to the south of us. Not much across the state yesterday. There were a few storms up on the rim and some gusty winds that got into parts of northern Gila and tried to make it to northeast Maricopa County, but all of that fell apart long before it ever got toward the valley. And so this area of high pressure is drifting to the west. And so as a result, over the next few days, even though temperatures will trend down as the ridge moves away from us, the flow aloft will remain generally out of the west and northwest, and that should keep us dry, at least in our part of the state. All right, here's the watch warning map. Most of the action is out here in the west, where we have the extreme heat warning in effect for the Phoenix area and much of southern and western Arizona. Maricopa, Pima, Pinal, Yuma, La Paz, Mojave counties, all in that. Sections of other counties as well. Now for us here in Phoenix, that extreme heat warning is in effect through tomorrow evening at 8 p.m., and the National Weather Service may extend it beyond that, but it looks like temperatures will fall just shy of that criteria as we go toward the weekend, although by no means does that mean we're done with the heat. Also, heat advisories throughout much of the west. Temperatures well over 100 degrees once again up in parts of the Pacific Northwest, even around the Great Salt Lake. It's going to be just sizzling hot today. Boise, Idaho. The one and only Michelle returning later today, but having to deal with the heat up there. At least they had some reprieve from the heat over the 4th of July weekend. But yeah, now it's getting hot over the Pacific Northwest again. And for the east, the hits just keep coming. Rain, and more rain for parts of the East Coast. And in Chicago last night, about 6 inches of rain fell in about 3 hours. So they've had some very heavy rain up there. I mean, it's just been a wild bunch of weather here this summer, just not really for us yet. All right, convective outlook for today. We do have the standard slight risk of severe storms, level 2 out of 5, over South Dakota, some of the adjacent states, as well as the East Coast, around the Chesapeake Bay, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., some of the surrounding areas, the broader severe weather risk, the marginal risk, level 1 out of 5, Salt Lake City, Boise, Great Falls, Bozeman, Montana, all in that. In Arizona, parts of the eastern and southeastern sections are in the green. Thunderstorms are possible, but they'll be fairly widely spaced, and most of the storm activity will just produce gusty winds, some lightning, and a brief heavy downpour. Those are the most likely outcomes. Of course, obviously, during the monsoon season, any storm has the potential to become briefly severe. Here's the precipitation outlook valid through Wednesday morning of next week. Rain amounts in Phoenix, likely nothing. Statewide, any precip found over the rim, the eastern mountains, the White Mountains, southeast Arizona, the southern border of our state, generally staying to the east of us in that typical kind of crescent shape there. As the flow aloft will generally remain unfavorable for moisture to come in here. Now, things get at least a little bit better for moisture to maybe make it to the south central deserts early next week. But even at that, storms would be generally isolated. Now, we're going to talk about this, how long this pattern kind of continues, and everything else as we get to the models right now. Have a look at it. This is the GFS, the 12Z run, valid at 5 o'clock this afternoon. The upper look at 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet off the ground. All right, we've got the ridge, and it's pretty much right on top of us, centered over eastern and moving into central Arizona today. Upper heights about 597 decameters in the center of that, maybe even topping out by later this afternoon, 598, 599 decameters. And you know, when you see those upper heights getting that high, it's an extremely strong ridge, the old heat dome. And so what it means down at the surface for the rest of the day today, sunny and very hot. Dare I say damn hot. High temperatures 114 to 118 in Phoenix. The record high, by the way, for today, 116 degrees. And so there's a pretty good chance we're going to break that. All right, for tonight, the sky is clear. The air is dry, but it will be uncomfortably warm with overnight lows in the mid 80s to low 90s. 84 to 93 for the lows tonight here in the south central deserts, depending on where you are. Obviously, the urban heat island, right in the center of that urban core, downtown Phoenix, Sky Harbor Airport, maybe over toward Arcadia. Yeah, low 90s, elsewhere 80s. As for thunderstorm activity, again today, there could be some widely scattered storms over the higher terrain, but for the most part, conditions will be fairly quiet. Now for tomorrow, the ridge continues to drift further to the west, and it will weaken ever so slightly, but that doesn't mean the heat just magically goes away. We're still sunny, we're still hot, we're still dry. High temperatures 110 to 114, so down a few degrees. And again, an isolated storm over the eastern mountains can't be ruled out, but here in the lower deserts, no activity to worry about there. Friday, we are sunny, hot, dry, high temperatures 106 to 110. The continued downtrend in temperatures continues, and that's pretty much going to hold true over the weekend. Highs maybe a degree or two either side of 110 for Saturday, for Sunday as well. Now you'll note that on Sunday, the ridge starts to drift back to the east a little bit, and some moisture beginning to seep back in across northwest Mexico, New Mexico, and eastern Arizona. So widely scattered, mainly afternoon and evening showers and storms will return there. But I think we're going to stay dry on Sunday. And again, more of the same even on Monday. The difference here is that the moisture may push just farther west enough to produce some isolated showers and thunderstorms in the afternoon and evening hours here over the lower deserts, including Phoenix. And in a nod to that, and given the model trends that we've seen, we're going to introduce at least a very small chance of a shower or storm here in Phoenix on Monday, about a 10% chance. Nothing to get too excited about, but at least it's something. High temperatures will still generally be pretty close to 110 degrees. And it's the same story on Tuesday. There could be an isolated storm in the lower deserts, widely scattered showers and thunderstorms over the higher terrain of eastern Arizona. And again, high temperatures close to 110 degrees. Let's keep it going. It's a week from today. This is Wednesday, the 16th. And the ridge continues to shift further to the east, maybe setting up now over southern Nevada, Utah, kind of around the greater southwest north of us. The flow aloft turning more out of the east. And so as that happens, showers and thunderstorms that develop over the higher terrain will be pushed toward the lower deserts. This is becoming more of a typical monsoon setup. Now, the ridge is weakening a little, not dramatically so, but enough to where maybe the air aloft is slightly cooler, a little bit more unstable to support better chances of showers and storms. Still, it's kind of a marginal threat here in the lower deserts, but will at least call for widely scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms by this point, and high temperatures should trend down. I think Tuesday, those highs kind of maybe might struggle to make 110, and by Wednesday, we might be back toward around 103 to 107, pretty much average temperatures for this time of year, which is still hot, but that trend is going the right way. Now, of course, as temperatures come down in the monsoon, typically what that means is moisture levels are coming up. So the humidity comes up, the chances of rain come up, but I think most of us will take that exchange if it means better chances of showers and storms here. This is Thursday, the 17th. And again, the ridge is getting better established, mainly north of us, perhaps drifting a little bit more toward the Four Corners or even in toward New Mexico and Colorado. And so again, east or southeasterly flow aloft, and that means scattered afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms will be with us. And just at face value, at least this will be more of a typical monsoon forecast. Temperatures may actually continue to trend down if this is right. Maybe we could be average or even a few degrees below average, depending on how much moisture comes in and rain chances and all of that. And obviously, one thing we cannot anticipate this far out is also if there are any inverted troughs or these little MCVs, these perturbations in the flow that could enhance shower and thunderstorm activity. We have no idea if those are going to be there. I mean, they'll be there at some point. When, where, do they affect us? We don't know that. Your weather apps don't know that. Nobody knows that, especially not 7 or 8 or 9 days out. Let's keep going here. There's the synoptic look, by the way, on Thursday the 9th. And again, or Thursday my goodness, coffee, Mike. Need the coffee. Thursday the 17th. And you can see, still widely scattered to scattered showers and thunderstorms. Again, mainly afternoon and evening. Now, this is the end of the period, Friday the 18th. And the ridge will be somewhere over the southwest, somewhere over New Mexico, West Texas, eastern Arizona. The models kind of all agree it'll be somewhere in at least marginally favorable, if not a more favorable position to bring monsoon moisture into the southwest. Now, obviously, the intensity of the ridge and its exact positioning, that's going to make the difference, right? But for now, sure looks like monsoon activity continues to increase over the southwest for at least widely scattered, if not scattered, mainly afternoon and evening showers and thunderstorms across the higher terrain getting into the lower deserts, late afternoon, evening hours. High temperatures should be at maybe even below normal. Now, if we take this run of the GFS at face value, it's a 594 ridge on top of us. So yeah, it might be a little bit warmer than we're thinking here, but we've seen other model runs with the ridge further to the north and a little bit weaker, maybe more along the lines of 591 decameters. Either way, what we're really talking about is just a few degrees in temperature difference, but that ridge placement is more important, and that's going to determine the better chances of showers and storms. But it does look like the trend is favoring an uptick in showers and storms, especially in the latter half of next week. All right, looking at rainfall for Phoenix. This goes out through the 23rd of July. This is off the GFS ensemble. The mean continues to creep back up. Now getting up toward around 0.4 of an inch. European ensemble, the control member is getting up toward 1/3 of an inch. The ensemble mean, though, is below that, kind of around 0.2, just under 1/4 of an inch. But many of the members, again, introducing rain chances maybe as early as Monday and Tuesday, but better, more likely that it'll be later next week and into that following weekend. Temperatures off the national blend of models. The trend is down, fortunately. Now, the NBM still keeps us at or maybe even a degree above average for most of next week and into that following weekend, 107, 108, somewhere in there. But I would suspect that if we really do get a better push of monsoon moisture, these temperatures will likely, at least on a few days, be lower than what's shown here. And in a nod to that, let me show you. This is the Climate Prediction Center, the CPC outlook for the 8 to 14 day period. This is July 16th through the 22nd. And if this is accurate, probability is skewed toward below average temperatures for much of southern Arizona. Maybe right here around Phoenix, or near normal or just slightly below average temperatures are favored. And usually when that happens in the month of July, that means precipitation chances are skewed, and in this case, fairly heavily toward above average precipitation. So monsoon lovers, those of you looking for the storms, the rain, the active weather, well, you may just get your wish, especially out here in the 8 to 14 day period, if this CPC outlook does verify. All right, that's going to do it for the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion for today. My next video is due back here tomorrow morning. Should you happen to enjoy these videos, be sure to subscribe, like, share, click that notification bell, leave those comments, questions, and suggestions. If you really like what we do here, you want to support the channel, do it, please. Click that thanks icon below the video here on YouTube. Make a monetary contribution to us that way, or even better than that, PayPal, groffshow@gmail.com is that PayPal address. It's GROFF show@gmail.com for PayPal, or the Venmo. That's linked up down in the description. All right, the executive producer of the Phoenix, Arizona weather discussion in absentia for one more day is my OAO, the sweetest of all time, the Asian sensation and proprietor of sweetchildaz.com.org and the Facebook page of the same name, Sweet Child Arizona, talking about my Michelle. Check her out, blogs, videos, everything Michelle related, possibly Adriana related, all linked up down in the description, so give that a look and listen and all of that. Speaking of things to give a listen to, our streaming station, it's available 24/7, 365. It's called KMGX. We play a ton of music, have a lot of fun with that over there, so give that a listen as well. And of course, I'm going to remind you to check out our friend here, friend of the channel, friend of mine, friend of the show, friend of everybody. He is Dan the Man over there at the Courtroom Files. Courtroom Files. Check out his channel. Again, we've got it linked up down there, and I see no reason to remove that link, so we're just going to keep that down there for a while. So you guys go and check him out, and I think you'll like it. It's a great community. We have a nice community over here. He's got a great community, so everybody will get along. I think that's what it's all about here on the YouTube community. You know, there's so much drama. There's so much crazy stuff on YouTube, even in the weather tube or the WX tube community. And I really try to steer clear of most of that. Every once in a while, we do have to call out something because there's so much lunacy. Just sometimes, because people come to me with questions, I don't know why people do this, but believe it or not, there are actually other YouTube channels that do weather out there. And there's some great people in this space. Far, far better than I am. All right. But there's also some people that are in big disrepute, people that just want to clickbait you, and people that want to just scare you and frighten you and get you to watch it. They rely on your fear, and they rely on the rush that you get from watching that. And oh my God, we want to scare you and let you know that everything is terrible. And there's plenty of those people. And every once in a while, we do have to call them out because people come to me and say, Mike, is this really true? Is that really true? And, you know, we just try to keep it, stick to the facts here and stick to the model discussion and all that. But sometimes we do have to venture outside of it. And that's just the way it is. Anyway, I do appreciate your support and your trust, and it does not go unnoticed. You guys are a fantastic group, each and every one of you. So I thank you so much for spending the 15, 20 minutes listening to me ramble about the weather. and sometimes other stuff, food and pictures and all of that. All right, thank you guys once again so much for watching. Please, as always, I want you to be safe out there, especially on a day like today. My goodness, 118. If you can stay indoors, do it. Otherwise, stay cool, stay hydrated. Have yourselves a wonderful rest of your Wednesday.